College was steeped in the history of football. Um, the name Billy Griffiths is one of the greats that came out of there. He was one of my idols. Um, George G. Davidson, all of these people I'm telling you about represented Jamaica. So too did Lascelles Dunkley. Um, as I said, these are names from the past that inspired me. And of course, what you're talking about Hungary,
Yeah.
and let me segue into this. A lot of people don't know football was not my first love. It was
Yeah.
track and field.
Oh yeah,
In
yeah,
fact,
yeah.
as you may have known from your research, I won the 100 meters at Boys Champs.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's that. So I saw when I was researching out, and I mean, as I said, introducing you, I was like, most people know you for football. That's why I was going to dive into your early child career and sports before what led to football. So a lot of people didn't know you. You're on 10-5, and no matter what, just that's quick.
well, the thing is that Cornell College motto is learn or leave. So you
Yeah,
had to be academic as well as a sportsman if you wanted to be, but the emphasis was not
yeah,
on sport. And in addition to that, in my era, and many people, even from your school, the Mauricio Venturas, the people of yesteryear of KC, there were multiple athletes.
yeah,
They had to do a number of sport.
yeah.
Um, uh, I dabbled in table tennis. I dabbled in track and field. I did a little bit of cricket. I was a little bit of a pace bowler. I wasn't a good batsman, but because of my speed out in the field, I could feel very well.
Mm.
And but what really happened, to kind of put it in perspective, is that um, I started playing football from early, but I played
Yeah.
multiple other sports. And I actually was one of the fastest runners in Montego Bay, beating up boys twice my age. But I didn't see that I had to choose. What happened was when I started playing, and of course, I don't know if any of your co-hosts are JC men, but the
No, no,
highlight of
no.
my schoolboy career was when we played JC in the Olivia Shield final at Cornell
Yeah.
College. I was 14 years of age, and we beat them 5-love. I scored two of those goals. And so to this day, I have bragging rights over JC. And
We definitely welcome that. As KC old boys, we definitely welcome that.
no, but
Yeah.
equally so, some of my good friends were KC men. The late great Jimmy Grant used
Yeah.
to come to Montego Bay. We used to spend a lot of time on Doctor's Cave, looking at the girls and so forth. But Jimmy beat me in the 200 at champs,
Yeah.
and he helped to teach me hurdles. And but I we learned from each other. We In my day we were not competitors. We were collaborators, and of course on the day your performance. But the point that I'm trying to put to you, gentlemen, is that when I won at champs and when I went to what was the it's not the Carifta Games, it was the quadrangular meet
Yeah.
where Trinidad, Barbados, all of these people came together. I ran the 100 meters when we just switched in 10.5, which in 1966, put it in perspective, it was a phenomenal time.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I fell in love with track and field. Um, Herb McKinley, who was good friends with my father, Herb used to come to Montego Bay and have a great time. When Kingstonians want to have a good time, they come to the North Coast. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
definitely.
Herb wanted me because I was young enough to go do a year at Calabar
Mm.
before I got a track scholarship. Of course, my mother said, over a dead body, my son ain't going to that godforsaken place, Kingston, with all the crime and violence.
Worst of
And
all, Calabar.
yeah, but I ended up working at Air Jamaica. And whilst I was there, my father and an eminent doctor in Montego Bay, Dr. Marco Brown, came out to
Mm.
the airport. I was a customer service agent and said, they are trying out players to go play in the start up the NASL, which is now the MLS in the United States.
Yeah.
And I was one of 14 Jamaicans, along with Alan Cole, Neville Oxford, and quite a number of other people that ended up starting the football program in the United States. I played for St. Louis Stars down south. There were 4 Montagonians, Billy Griffiths and myself. And so when I went to do the tryout, in 15 minutes they wanted to sign me up. And they were offering me, I think it was 25,000 US dollars for 6 months' work. And my father said, a bird in hand is better than two in the bush. So that's how I actually ended up going to football rather than track and field, because I was waiting on a track scholarship that literally never came. Because in those days, rural sportsmen had a heck of a time getting scholarships. Thank God all that has changed now.
Yeah. It fast forward now, we see the likes of athletes all across the rural, getting scholarships all over Jamaica
No, but
right now.
that's
So
a wonderful thing.
yeah, so that's where the career part of football came about because
Well,
of
at another level, because I ended up playing for Jamaica, as you would have known. I ended up in the latter part after my playing days. I coached Jamaica as well, 87, 88. And again, I was in industry. I'd acquired a gas station that they still call it McNab's Texaco at Mary Brown's Corner. And I had it for 12 years, and I actually sold it to Richie B.
So football, which other clubs you represented? Because you said you start football at Cornwall, know about that. But after playing for that 6-month contract in the US, what club decision?
Well, I ended up on a tryout in England with Reading. I'm 5'11". The English people want somebody 6'2", and you must be a forward who can go up there and head it in. I was not that type of forward, and it was too cold for me. So I ended up going back to St. Louis, Missouri, and then I ended up going and playing for Toronto Falcons for 2 years. After which the league went kaput, so to speak, and then it never came back, I think, until 1974 when Pele came to the New York Cosmos.
Yeah. That was a big boom for the MLS to grow in that time. To know where we see it.
I tell you, gentlemen, I in Montego Bay, I used to travel to Kingston 3 days a week to play football for Cavalier. Under Leighton Duncan, and I played with Neville Oxford and quite a number of other, even Lon Donaldson, who just coached the female team. He was my midfielder at Cavalier, and we developed a great friendship to this day. And then I left and I played with Santos so one season. And I'll give you a joke of what happened. Santos goes to Boys Town. We beat them 2-0. I scored both goals. Of course, I was working in television at that time, OJBC. So the people lifted me on their shoulder. And Carl Brown, who is my best friend, at a Jamaica level, he was captain and I was always vice captain. And to this day, he is, I spoke with him for 2 hours 2 nights ago. So just to tell you. But Carl came up and says, Allie, the people should have beat you. Because you scored 2 goals on us. Then when they put me down, there's a lady that walked up and says to me, Mr. McNab, may I introduce you to my sons? And I noticed that Carl Brown started laughing along with Herbert Diego Gordon. They had big grins on their face. And me kind of full of myself, oh, sure, ma'am, take me where they are. And she took me into a room where there were 40 kids. It was close to Christmas. And they huddled around me and started singing Christmas carols. And when the tears started running, Carl Brown whispered in my ear, so where you playing next year, McNab? To this day, I believe Carl Brown set me up. And that's where I am playing for Boys.
Ali. You just went a while ago,
It's,
Ali.
Best
Still.
in
Okay.
football. Because I ended up in an area where it wasn't just football. You met real people, and
Mm-hmm.
to be able to share um, in an area like Boys Town that is so rich in history, not
Yeah.
just football, but music. And from, Collie Smith is a Boys Town man,
Mhm.
Herbert David Gordon, Carl Brown, one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met, and so many other people that contributed. I'm sure you also know that 25 of Jamaica's greatest musicians, Higgs and Wilson, Ken Booth, Junior Tucker, all of these people originated from 4th Street in Boys Town.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
grew up
it
and
was
hear about stories because my uncles are all Boys Town fans, and they told me about. But then, in my era growing up, the Boys Town wasn't in the Premier League until recently. They came back and being up down by Boys Town.
right. And
Yeah,
just to quickly tell you, because time is running, the highlight of my career was in 1978. Um, Germany was on their
mm-hmm.
way to the World Cup final. And
Yeah,
they actually ended up getting beaten in the final by Argentina. And they stopped off in Jamaica to play a Jamaica team. And Lon Ollinson played in that game. Howard Bell was a KC man, was a midfielder.
yeah.
And of course, I am known for my speed. So Howard Bell played the ball through, and I hammered a goal in, as they say, typical style past the great Schumacher. And
Ah,
Yeah.
we,
yeah,
yeah, and we had them 1-1 with just 9 minutes to go, and they ended up drawing the game. But so
yeah,
we talk about this all the time because a World Cup finalist. And that is part of the time when we begin to believe that if we worked harder, if we got better technical support and financial support, Jamaica could get there. The women have beaten us.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. One step ahead was going advancing to the group in the World Cup, and I said, Lon Donaldson, if I big him up as the coach of that team. I didn't know he even played for the national football
However,
program. Yeah, I know he
yes,
played
we
Manning Cup
played
for
for the
KC.
national team as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know he played Manning Cup for KC, but I didn't know he represented on the national level. But yeah, it's good to connect all the dots and see where football has from then come to where it is now. And as I said, what more you think the reggae boys can do? Because you touch on that note,
Yeah.
where from your time coming up, because we know we have the talent here. We see now where we see a signing in Syria, homegrown talent. So what do you think?
Did you say you're going to have on Oral, Tracy? Oral and I talk all the time. Uh, let me tell you something. I have said my bit publicly.
Mhm.
And the controversies that have been going on for both the men and the women is that Jamaica needed a Captain Burrell when Captain Burrell came along. It needed someone with that kind of drive, that single mindedness, that someone who had a resolve and had a goal. And that's typical of a person from the army. And I give him all the kudos for that. Following our 98 program, there needed to be a revamping, looking at structures in terms of um, for continuity. That was not addressed. What we're having now, and I want to use the so-called controversy, because it's not all that much of a controversy. It's really highlighting what is the norm, is that we have part-time and inept people running our football program locally who don't understand what a professional setup is. The kind of management that we need in today's football is at the level of somebody running any kind of successful conglomerate.
Yeah,
Football is big business. We
the whole
need to look at
sports.
exporting. We need to look at people don't understand what Craig Butler is doing. Craig is a little bit of a loose wire, but what he's doing is great work. He's giving opportunities to youngsters. Why can't other people emulate not everything that Craig Butler does, but understand what's the good in it? The local program, what we have is that you have part-time people running and leading professionals. In understanding that you can't travel from England to Jamaica in economy where your legs are curled up. Even me at my old age, when I travel, I have to have leg room because I still fool myself. I'm an athlete. I play a lot of tennis. And
No, you're still an athlete. How is an athlete?
you have to understand what a professional needs.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest mistakes we make is not understanding that without the footballers, the administrations have. And we need to understand they are the people that we have to give all the support. And so when you hear of the girls, some of what they spoke about, gentlemen, as it related to once you qualify, FIFA provides all of that funding for you. And they were not wanting. The GoFundMe was a wonderful initiative one of the parents did. But when you understand the inner workings of organizations such as FIFA or any other world body, you cannot have funding coming in without it being structured in a certain way. So we need to understand the complaints and the exuberance of Bonnie Shaw and the exuberance of the team. They have done exceptionally well. And one of the other bugbears that people don't like when I talk about it is the intelligence level. Have you heard these ladies when they are interviewed? They are at a different level.
Top notch. They know how to represent themselves.
We are able to coach them. So we have to look at our program. And that is why Mount Pleasant and a Craig Butler, they don't just take people in to play football. There is an academic side to it. You're uplifting the person. You're allowing them to speak to television with confidence because they know their subject. So, maybe I'm talking too much because I'm.
We're definitely learning. I'm sure the listeners as well are taking note because, as I said, sports is a business and it has to be run as such. And we can't have people part-time in it just to be in it for sake, because just like as I said, any other conglomerate is a business, and for it to produce efficiency, you have to spend time and you have to have some form of aptitude to match with what you're competing against, which is professionalism, and we need more of that in Jamaican sports.
Not only football. The truth of the matter is that the JFF does not have the capacity to lead the football, the current people that are there. And unless we want to look at it as an industry that is seriously going to, because 50% of our population, gentlemen, is 18 years and under. 75% is 45 years and under. We are a young nation. We've got to address what is important to the young people. I gave a talk at my alma mater just recently, and they were shocked that I'm talking about AI and chat GPT and all of that this is like a pregnancy, it's coming. And if people of my age group and older or what have you don't get on that board and understand that, how do you communicate with the young people and the young people of tomorrow? I'm sorry to be mouthing off on that, but it's a passion of mine. That people believe because you get older, you cannot change with the times. You have to. I am not envious of what's happening to our footballers today. I enjoyed my time. I am hoping that they will use this time to advance themselves, we just lost one of our, in fact, I'm speaking at his memorial service tomorrow, Bancroft Gordon, Banky. Banky, 66 years of age. But what a life. What has that man done so much? I mean, when I coached Cornwall College, we had, I think it was 6 or 7 of my players that got scholarships to Howard University. And Banky, not even knowing them very well, was such a help to them in settling. And so many other young footballers and sportsmen who ended up in his area.
Mm.
He was such an unselfish giver, and we need more people like him. But that's for another discussion, sir.
Yeah. But before you go, Ali, no, we have a couple more minutes with you, but I want to ask you a question. As it regards the national program itself and the players that we have a talented squad and good players we can work with. What is the missing ingredient to the national team?
Time together.
Time together.
I am. What we don't understand is that football has systems. The gap is closing. You have seen it in the women's game. You've seen it in the men's game. There's no secret technique to training. What is happening is that Jamaica, like many other countries, it happened to Brazil when they kind of lost their way, and even now, when they started sending players all over the place, all over the world.
Yeah.
And then they came back for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
When Jamaica did well in the Gold Cup some years ago, what a lot of people didn't piece was the contact. We had a program, we had a tournament that was part of CONCACAF, where they played a Latin America, and they played in a tournament just before going to the Gold Cup. That means the players were together for almost a month, and we got to the final. The next time around, we did the same thing. We got to the final. It's not magic. It's just that you need time to gel.
Yeah.
And again, I would not have gotten Whitmore out of the program. I would have kept Whitmore in bringing in somebody like this guy here, who I think is a wonderful guy and can do wonders with us.
Yeah.
Here's a gentleman coming to Jamaica, and he already has a 4-year program in terms of on his computer development and how to look at. He has a database of all the players that he knows that has Jamaican connection. It's about understanding the level of management and cooperation and what it is to develop football in a third world country that don't have the resources but have the desire. Because as you well know, Jamaicans make their mark everywhere we go. We have a passion, we have a drive that nobody else has. You know, my mother used to tell me, Ali, you're not better than nobody. But nobody is better than you. And I looked at people in that light because there's so much for people to tell you. I always ask people, have you ever stopped and asked a madman why he's in the trash? Why is he on the road? You might be amazed at some of the answers that you get.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Mr. McNab, boy, time runs so fast, and we have so many things we want to ask about. I can guarantee you, we'll be having you on the show. We need an hour with you. We need at least 1 hour with you. We're going to sit down with you for 1 hour. We're going to give you a McNab segment. You know?
Yeah, but right now, I would sit and listen to you, Carl Brown, and talk about stories. I'm just picturing that 2-hour conversation. You guys, reminiscing and all that. Because Carl Brown was on the show a couple weeks ago. And I mean, just like this interview, we learned a lot from him. And it's just wisdom. And I'm sure you pass it on to, the likes of...
There are some people who are born for leadership. Carl Brown was that individual, one of those individuals. Carl Brown has a mind and a heart that is, you know, many of us go into coaching, and some of us may be technically better than he is and so forth. But you know why none of us could get more out of our players? Because Carl knew their girlfriends. They knew whether they ate tonight. He was their friend. And you know, Carl is writing a book that he's reluctant to put out, and I'm encouraging him to do so, about the 98 experience and what happened in France when Nandilo picked up his passport and saying, I'm going home because Simoes want to ban Carl Brown from talking to the team. This was a team that Simoes inherited when Carl Brown had coached him to 3 successive Caribbean championships.
Yeah.
I'm skirting on controversy, am I?
But
And
I mean,
it's
he
rubbing
should
off.
he should definitely publish that book because I mean that would be an interesting read.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
it's
I
not
want to
just
thank you.
controversy, it's about the journey.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
important for people to know the journey.
Yeah, it's the journey is the key. It's not the final destination. And but I want to thank you for taking the time out, Mr. McNab. I mean, we've learned a lot, and I'm sure we want you back on the show again later at some point because we have more to talk about. But as you know, time doesn't permit. But thanks for
Let me
taking the
just
time.
leave you with this, sir. I wear many hats outside, and you may have looked at the resume, but one of the things that I want to leave with you is that I am chairman of Special Olympics. That's people with intellectual disability in Jamaica. And it's one of the most humanitarian things that anybody can do. And, it's about inclusion, it's about acceptance, and it's about being able to understand that all of us, in some way or another, have a handicap. I couldn't do math at school very well,
Yeah,
but not because you are challenged in one area doesn't mean that you're not functional in society. So that's another subject we can talk about. But I just wanted to share that with you, sir, and with
no,
your
no problem.
listeners.
All right, no problem, no problem. All right, thanks again, and I mean all the best with that. And all right, keep safe.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mr. McNab. That was Allie McNab, former Jamaican representative, and I mean, as he said, he wear many hats, but a great person and from a great background. So we move from one sporting arena to the next, and with us we have, we interviewed her 2 weeks ago, and at the time she was just national, North American powerlifting champion. Now she's two-time defending North American powerlifting champion. And with us again, Sami DePass.
The champ is here.
Yeah, the champ is back.
What's up, guys?
What's up? I mean,
happy to be back.
Yeah.
We are so happy to have you right now because you said it yourself 2 weeks ago. You're going out there to do what you have to do. And you were skeptic, but...
Never skeptic, just never overconfident.
You're just being low-key. I was not skeptic. It was being low-key, but like, all right, I'm going to do this, but you have something planned for them. I know you had something planned for them, and you did it in record-breaking form. Tell us about the championship from start to finish.
Yes, so I was able to push my squat a little bit further. I'll kind of tell you guys a little bit first. So this was the lightest I'd weighed in for competition. I weighed in at 74.8 kilograms, which is about almost 2 kilograms less than I usually weigh in. So that's a big deal for me to be so light and still able to put up those numbers. I was able to push my squat record further. So I squatted 198 kilograms, which is approximately 437 pounds. My previous record was 408. I did not get the bench record. The girl who was kind of head and head with me, Claire's Eye, she was able to get that record. I think she did 260 pounds, something around there. And then I was able to push my deadlift record further to 507 pounds, or I think it's 230 kilograms. And then, of course, the total was 540.5 kilograms, which also puts me on the number 8 all-time in the 75-76 kilogram class. So I'll toot my own horn of all time. I will toot my own horn by saying that being top 10 in my weight class for all time total is a very, very different feeling than when you're just number 1 in Jamaica. Like, you never think that other people don't think you're capable of something and them try to put doubts in your head. I always knew I was capable of. I always, at the end of a lot of my posts, I always say, I'm coming for everything I'm willing to work for. And it's very apt to how I generally go through my training and my life and my competitions. And that's basically anything I'm willing to work for. I'm not going to limit myself to anything less than that. Yeah.
And you did so, I mean, in fine style. So now you're in the top 10 all time, and you defended your title, and it's annually. So we know next year will come
again.
That. But what's up next after this championship? Is it a downtime or preparing for our next meet?
So next up for me is actually Jamaica Nationals, which is November 25th this year. So that's in about 3 months. That's a good enough off period to build some numbers, PR, kind of take it easy for a little bit. Last week I only trained twice. Coming into next week, I am back into full force. And then after that, hopefully Worlds, which is next June. And, you know, powerlifting, there's no really any off season. You're constantly having to train because strength is built right now, like when I'm not in competition prep. So just doing what I need to do to be successful in later months.
Okay.
And you said you weighed in less, 2 kg less?
So usually I weigh in about 75.8, sometimes like right on the mark, and then this time I was 74.6 or 8 or something like that. So
you weighed less and you lifted heavier.
Yeah.
So it's strength. You're getting stronger then.
I'm getting stronger.
Stronger with Sam. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What, Sami? During the championship, you had that one athlete in the bench that you said would have challenged you or pushed you a little bit further. When you were about to take on that competition, you saw her, and was there any little butterflies in your stomach, or you're like, I need this, I want this? How did you feel seeing her and knowing that this is your competition? What are you gonna do?
So let me tell you, this is my first rodeo. So to be honest, like let me tell you, this was probably though the most nervous I've been, because in all honesty, this is my first time going head to head with an actual person. Like when I was at Worlds, I went head to head with this mystical total that I had in my head. You get what I mean? Like I never expected to go to Worlds and come first. I expected to go there and come 10th or 11th or something. So I really was just constantly working on getting my total. This time, there's a physical person who is trying to beat me, or I am trying to beat. So that kind of puts a different spin on it. So honestly, the morning of the competition, because our weigh-in was at 4 p.m. Number one, I have never weighed in so late for a competition. 2, I've never competed so late at a competition. All of my competitions that I've been at have been early morning. You're weighing first thing as you wake up, you get the lifting out of the way. So honestly, the entire day, me did a fret. I was super nervous. My belly, I rugu, all types of things. Like, I call my father because this is the first competition internationally that my daddy hasn't been there. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, what am I gonna do? What if this girl beats me? Like, and my daddy was like, let me tell you something, little girl. If you go up on the stage there and make anybody beat you, I go cuss you next time I see you. I cry, I walk and I go say, ooh, okay, all right. And he's like, get it together. You've done far more with far less. Like, you will be fine. Like, stop the balling. Get your head in the game. Get it together. And honestly, like, I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't on anything. I was just sitting in the room, reading my book, focusing, like, not really allowing anything outside to impact. And then as soon as I weighed in, I kind of said to myself, yo, it's about to be go time. I drank my cornmeal porridge that my all pack with me. I made my mother-in-law freeze my cornmeal porridge, because that is what I drink before I compete. I make her freeze my cornmeal porridge, me bring that guy came on with me, and that's what I ate before I competed. I'm very serious about those things.
Which is right.
The day, I just said, all right, Sam, mentally you're ready, you're good. I started warming up, and for me, the second I start warming up, I start to get in my zone. Like, my headphones got on, I'm in the zone. Like, so to be honest, like, the Jamaican phrase, them say you, but even say them. That's definitely my competition style. Like, you are pre me, but me not even watch you. So.
Yeah, but you know them are pre you because you're the champ.
No, them are pre me. Them are pre me hard. Them are calculate numbers to see what me I gonna do. All of them something there, but it was a very necessary It was a very necessary experience, and pressure can either bust pipe or make diamonds, and some people respond better to pressure than others. And I am somebody who I honestly can tell you, like, I'm really good at just running my own races, staying in my own lane, lifting my own weights, like focusing on myself. And my last pull, I actually didn't have to deadlift that much, but I said to myself, yo, I'm gonna do it same way. In my head, I was like, oh, this girl is almost beating you. She, like, at that point, I had already known that I'd won, but I said to myself, yo, you're gonna pull this like somebody's chasing after you. And my 508-pound deadlift moved way quicker than what I had done at Worlds, and that was a really great feeling for me.
I mean, you're presented, record-breaking style. So, all that Carmel, Porridge, all those jitters, you locked in and you delivered. So, we're looking forward to November now, the National Championships and World Championship
next year.
Where's the next
World Championships?
The next World Championships is in Lithuania.
Lithuania. Yeah, sounds cold. Yeah.
Sound cool and sound like no people with no pigment not there. So I don't know what to do.
Yeah. But big up. You represented well. You defended your title, record breaking form, and we definitely be.
I guess we'll be watching nationals.
Yeah, we'll be keeping check and watching nationals.
Hopefully you guys will come and watch and support. I want to say that I really, in the North American Powerlifting Federation and NAPF is an amazing opportunity for Caribbean lifters to kind of lift for the first time internationally. And the woman that I was lifting with in my class did an amazing job of representing. And although we talk about competitors, sort of, I feel robotically at times, it's their people too, and they did their very best, and I did my very best, and I feel like I'm the type of winner who I always congratulate people because I could also be a loser on that day. You get what I'm saying?
Sami, I should ask you a question. I saw that all the other islands, Trinidad had a very large squad. Cayman seems to have a large squad, and Barbados as well. Jamaica didn't have a large contingent. Why is that?
So remember that it always comes back to funding, right? So we actually paid our own way. All of the athletes paid our own way to go to Cayman, every single one of us. So the reality is that even if you're chosen to go, if you can't afford to go, you can't go. And the reality is that we have probably a more harsh, I guess you can say, selection process in the fact that Jamaicans love to win. Them not like send people to come anything but first, second, or third. Like it's just kind of a sad reality. But as a Jamaican stay, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, because actually some people from Trinidad were asking me the same thing. And although it's great to give people the opportunity to represent, me feel like we have a real thing in Jamaica all across sports-wise that nobody no wants to send you nowhere if you go lose.
Unless you're on the podium, they're not willing to invest. They understand that there's a journey towards
and all if they're on the podium 2 times, them still no want to invest. Remember that you could be number 8. You could be number 8 all time, and you still can't get no money. Remember that.
But 2 things before you go, Sam. The nationals, it will be held in the indoors.
Yeah, so usually it's held at, I think it was held last year, It's usually held indoors.
Okay, and how far are you from number 1 all time?
So, I'm quite a bit away. So, number 1, she has a 600 kg total. I have a 540.5 total. So, she's quite a ways away, but
keep racking up them kgs. You're going up.
The fact that you remember all these numbers, you look like you have one eye. You have one eye that
listen, you always have to remember. So remember at Worlds, I did 530. At NAPF, I did 540. After this will be 550. And then you keep on just slowly but surely climbing up the ladder, and if you maintain your same work ethic, your same characters that you had when you were not as good or not as strong, and it's always easy when other people are clapping for you, but you always have to clap for yourself when there's nobody around. And I really feel like all of these competitions for me have been lessons in the fact that it only matters if I believe in myself.
Yeah.
Because before I was number 1, before I was number 8 all time, I was believing in myself and knowing that I see the vision for where I'm going to go. And that's what's more important than anybody else clapping for me. So
trust the process. Yeah, trust the process, and you climb the ladder.
Exactly. It's always nice for people to want to hear about my journey on powerlifting and all of that stuff. So, of course, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I hope to see you at Nationals.
In November, yes.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
All right. Good to know.
All right,
guys.
Thank
you
so
much.
All right, welcome.
Yeah, that was Sami DePass, now 2-time North American powerlifting champion.
Her interviews are just so real.
Very smooth. Very smooth.
Yeah.
She's very well positioned.
Like what you tell about the Camille porridge.
She represents her sport well.
Yeah, man.
Remember that,
Advertising.
She represents her sport well.
I hope corporate Jamaica can represent her.
No, man, that's exactly the point I'm getting at.
All right.
That's exactly the point I'm getting at.
And she's telling you she climbing the ladder now 8 all time. And I'm sure she wasn't 8 a couple weeks ago. So she's moving from strength to strength. From world championship. And I mean, you can measure it. So she knows where she's at.
That's the reason why I asked her about world championships. Yeah. You know that you ask the average athlete where's the next worlds and they won't know.
Yeah.
She knows. And she know what number she aiming at.
Yep.
And she know that in mind.
And she know the all-time best and she know where she at.
Yeah, man.
So she's well invested.
She studies her sport. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and she's in tune. So that was Sami DePass, and now it's time for sports commentary with the controversial boss himself.
Oh my goodness, so unprepared. Greetings. Next week on Primal Sports, another exclusive. Returning from the World Championships in Australia, New Zealand, we will talk to Coach Connie Francis, who recently announced that she might be stepping away from it all. And the only place you will hear that interview is right here on Primal Sports. Kane and Dale.
Yeah.
Done it again, fellas. All right. So today, I don't know if you guys been watching English football, but my daughter, Vanessa Muyang, hey Vanessa, what's up? Is a big fan of Manchester United. So Manchester United, having done a lot of trades this year and having brought out a lot of the ammunition, starts their season with a loss. 2-0, who beat them? Burnley, Reading,
Tottenham today.
Spurs, right? 2-0. And let me tell you something. Manchester United, I don't know what's going on, with the biggest bench and the most expensive bench, and with, according to Ten Hag, a man for every position. Is that correct? Manchester United still can't get it right. And I have 2 keys. They brought in Nana, the Cameroonian goalkeeper, with this new concept of the outplaying goalkeeper. What do you call him? The 11th field man on the field. And I think this experiment is going to end horribly. I saw it explained on a board how having him there creates these triangles at the back and then so on and all this kind of thing, and negates the high court press and all this kind of thing. But what I also saw is that whenever this falls down, it ends up with a ridiculously comedic goal against you. And I'm just waiting for the end of season highlight reel, Onana being caught way up the field and somebody lobbing the ball into the goal. Trust me. The real key to Manchester United becoming a great team again, I feel, is Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood, and we're going to talk about Mason Greenwood and Jamaica, you know. We're going to talk about Mason Greenwood and Jamaica. But I have looked at Mason Greenwood, who is a left-footed player, who plays almost as good with his right foot as his left foot. You guys been watching Mason Greenwood? He's a bit like Messi. He scores the same goal over and over, and yet they are unable to prevent it. Mason Greenwood, in spite of his troubles, which we're not going to talk about, Mason Greenwood was charged with rape, assault, something like that. And so we thought that was the end of his career. But the charges were dropped. The stigma exists, but the charges are dropped. But Mason Greenwood, if he's allowed back into the Manchester United team, I feel at 21, probably 22, I feel that Mason Greenwood would inject what Manchester needs. it's actually what Cristiano Ronaldo brings to every team. It's that pace and that direct striking ability that only Manchester City, what's the name of the guy?
Haaland.
Haaland is the only player. What you call, and as well as Mbappe, you need what you call the power forward, the direct striker. And I think that Mason Greenwood can save Ten Hag. Because this idea of Onana being the salvation of Manchester City is not going to fly with me. Tonight, big fight, UFC 292. Jamaica's Aljamain Sterling goes up against Somalia. I made a prediction last week, and I've been studying what they've been saying and all this kind of thing. And once again, people, you want to make some money? I think Sterling is a slight underdog. I don't understand why. But Sterling, who is now considered greatest bantamweight of all time, with 9 title defenses, is going to have a short night with O'Malley. I predicted 3 rounds because jiu-jitsu and martial artists like myself, we're able to max out the game, right? And I feel that Aljamain is going to eventually take down O'Malley. I don't think O'Malley has a good enough escape. He's going to take him down against the fence. He's going to pin him and choke him out. So once again, UFC 292, Sterling beats O'Malley. There's some other smaller fights I won't comment on right now. How many of you have been watching Elaine's interview? Elaine has a new coach, lady from MVP. And the new coach, Elaine is talking the talk. She's sounding very confident and refreshed, but I don't think that's a real Elaine. What I've noticed is Elaine complexion has gone back to its natural color, which is a good thing because I think she was experimenting too much with the cartel school of coloration. But I find that she's coming back now. But she said a lot of things. She went into religious things and all this kind of thing. She doesn't question God, but sometimes she questions God. And it was a picture of contradictions. She also said that she believes that she's the GOAT and a number of things, but it's not real confidence. There are people here who know what happens around the table. And when you hear them talking, you know, and thing, they have to have that confidence. But when they look me in the eye, I know who the GOAT is. We all know who the GOAT is. And you know, not present company accepted. Kane is a great player. So, Elaine coach, when I heard her speak, and is she really going to be the substitute for Stephen Francis? Is Elaine's coach really going to be the substitute for Stephen Francis? Let me tell you why I asked the question. So the camera turns to Elaine's coach and said, what will you do now for Elaine and all this kind of thing? And she said something that I found quite curious. She said, other than the injuries and so on, I'm going to work on the speed. I feel the speed is there, but I just need to pull it out. So I'm just working on pulling it out because you can touch it and just pull it. But if you just pull it a little harder, the speed come out. And I don't know if that's how speed works. I don't know if speed is a thing, that it's in you and you just need to reach in and just pull the speed out. I don't know if coaching works like that. I honestly, I mean, when they asked Elaine the same question, she said the same thing. Elaine, do you think you have it in you? And she says, yes, it's inside me. I just need to pull it out. Can speed be pulled out? That's sports commentary. What say you?
Pull out the speed.
Never short on controversy. I mean, do remember now the phone lines are open. 1-876-552-7406.
That's WhatsApp only. Repeat the number again. 1-876-552-7406.
Yeah, feel free to call in. I mean, we're expecting your calls. And again, we want to big up the listeners out there on Fit FM 96.7. I mean, the Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, feel free to call in. Yeah, man, I'm sure you're enjoying the show because I am. And definitely 2 great interviews earlier on. One from Allie McNab and one from Sami DePass. And I mean,
since you bring up Elaine track and field, is that what Elaine wants? A new coach?
I
She tried to mimic Shelley?
think she needs a coach. I think she needs a proper coach. And I think with this coach, she will be held more accountable for, you know, training and going out there trying to enhance her performance and again pull out that speed, you know, to get back that speed. Because even so, she touts herself as the greatest female sprinter of all time. And I mean, she has a illustrious track record. I mean, back-to-back Olympic double champion. She has run, I mean, fast times over both 100 and 200. I mean, 10.5, 21.5. So she's legit. I mean, she has fallen from graces, We want to see her get back. Can she get back? That's yet to be seen. But I mean,
think she's falling from grace.
I think she will be more comfortable in this setup and this camp.
Is it the
injuries,
same camp or just a change? It's the same camp, but
I mean, when I say camp, I mean who's around? She has now a different coach. So I mean, we wish her the best. I mean, injuries has a lot to play in it. But will Eileen get back? It'll be tough.
Eileen is right there, man. Eileen is right there, man.
She's in Budapest on the 4x1 relay pool, but it's yet to see. I mean,
Speaking of Budapest, Budapest,
yeah, I mean,
up and running.
yeah.
People we are up and running, and we had a little mix. What do you call it? Misfortune in the mix 4x4.
I really probably wouldn't call it misfortune because I didn't really expect much from that team. But I mean, we always want Jamaicans, no matter what field we're performing in, to be up there because we want medals. We always look on, gold medals, silver and bronze medals. But just to go out there and compete, the mixed relay team tried, but first time not in the final.
Why would you have a female anchoring?
I mean, it's sort of mixed and races.
Why would you have a female anchoring though? You know that.
No, well, you tell us why not.
That's the anchor leg. Normally, you have a strongest one on the anchor leg. Why would you have a female?
I actually didn't see the race. So I didn't really know what occurred. I just followed the highlights because I was prepping for this show. So that race missed me, and I heard we didn't do too well.
They're protesting right now, saying some impedance in the third length, I think. And
there you go. So there might be still chance for us to get in. A slim chance, I hope. But
slim chance. Slim.
Yeah.
But let's just see what happened. They ran a season best, I think, the time that they ran, and it was good. But as I said, that there's questions around the selection of the team and then the order in which they ran. It was really, really a messy order, and to have the female, you want the strongest runner on the anchor leg pushing that team, or we are down, and you want them to qualify. And I'm not bashing the females, but you need the strongest runner on that leg. And even when selecting that team, mixed relay team, you have so many runners out there that you can select from. And the pool even have Latoya Gold on the team, a specialist 800 runner.
Yeah.
On a mixed 4x4 team. When you have persons who run fifth on the 4 hurdles.
Yeah.
Persons who run fifth on the 4x4, on the 400 flat. You can use those persons. Why not use them?
Yeah, I mean, because Latoya Gold is not necessarily, it's not a 400 meter specialist, and we have a big 400 meter pool to choose from.
Somebody. She's somebody who likes to run ahead from the front.
I'm sure some people who were asked to run never want to run.
Probably that again.
100% sure. This is not a coaching decision.
Yeah,
but you have persons out there who can actually run it. You have 4 hurdles runner who didn't qualify. Why not let them run the mixed relays?
Yeah, there must be something else. But I don't want to dwell too much on the 4x4 mixed relay team. I'm looking forward to
like 100.
The 100 meter men. The 100 meter women. I mean, I said earlier about the fields, but we soon touch on the field events. But the 3 men qualified.
Yeah.
In comfortable style, where Seville ran his personal best 9.86. I think that's looking comfortable. That's the 3rd fastest time this year for male athlete. 9.86.
Yeah. Fastest time.
3rd fastest time.
Yeah, for the year. For the year for a male all men.
Him look good.
I mean, Ford running 10.01, coming second. Rowan Watson running 10.11, coming second again. All qualified through. You can't rule out a Watson. You know the third. I'm have a big coach in him camp.
What I like is that
U.S. national champion out. U.S. national champion is out. Coleman is through. Lyles is through. Fred Curley is through. I mean, but early days yet, but Seville looking like... Zaniel ran.
He qualified 10 flat.
He ran the same race as Ford.
Yeah,
Ford came second to Zaniel Hughes. But
what I like is that Seville beat Curley.
I mean...
We know, but it's still...
Early runs. Even I see Fred Curley saying that if Noah Lyles run 9.65, him just go run faster. Noah Lyles touting up himself saying him go run 9.65, but... I think that one of these Jamaicans, and I'm looking more so on Seville, but as I said before, you can't rule out a Watson, will be on the podium. I'm predicting a medal for a Jamaican male sprinter in the 100 meter.
I'm going to have them qualified.
What's that?
But seeing, I'm going to have them.
I mean, in terms
I'm
of...
going to have no the male 100 meter runner.
You don't have any?
Seville today kind of just shiftings because I didn't have them in my record.
No, I mean,
Well, that's why
no
they have
clear...
tournaments, you know. Tournaments are quite different from one-off events. There are people who come out in tournaments and do things that surprise you. But the problem with Seville, as he run his fastest race,
No,
listen.
He's giving us a Shakari
syndrome. Is it the
Shakari
Shakari syndrome where you run a qualifier and so on? Jamaicans in particular, you know, there's always this thing about easing down in the finish and how easy it look. I wonder how well he will run in the finals.
We got it, man. We got it. Him look really comfortable today.
I don't watch that. I never watch that.
Well, I haven't seen him like this for the year, for the whole
But
year.
I thought Lamont had run out and somebody tell me Lamont qualified.
He qualified. But
interesting days.
With the 100 meter, I don't see any one clear-cut winner. And I think we'll have more mishaps or more
The favorites
surprises.
still have to be Coleman and Curly. I mean, when you look back on it, and where are the Africans? And all the Africans been
They're
running?
in the mix. They're in the mix.
Tebogo? What did he do?
I didn't see Tobago's
He won
heat.
his race.
I didn't see Tobago's heat.
Omanyala?
But I mean, it's a heat. The next
They are
round.
true.
They have to-
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, good.
So,
Because I think those too dangerous to him.
and it's only 8 spots.
And like I
All
said-
calling the names.
like I said.
There's only 8
What
spots.
is interesting,
Somebody not going to make it.
Most of who went through, they're within that 10-1 region.
It's the
No,
first
the winning
thing.
time going to be 9.8
Yeah,
something. You know.
10-1, all of them. 10-1,
This is why I said
Early this
as
is-
Seville
it's
run his
prelims.
best race.
Nah, it's prelims. But even so, how many Jamaicans is making the finals? Because you've met the final before we talk about podium. You know.
Several will make the finals.
Do you think any other Jamaican will make the male final?
No. I
You
don't
think
see
so?
it.
Gonna see.
I think 2 will be in the final.
Oh, really? Who's the second?
I mean, Watson, you can't rule out Watson. I'm already telling you, know.
I think Watson ran his best race in the nationals. What did he do now? 9.9 something?
991.
Yeah, I think Watson has run his best race.
Yeah. But with these, you know, you have big coach, you know.
A lot of these Watsons are local bullies. You know?
But I mean, they look good. Hats off to them in qualifying. And as I said, look out for surprises. One of those big names will not be the final.
By the way,
Probably
give me
Niles
Noah's
or-
time as well. What's Noah's time?
I'd have to double check that on the heats.
He won his round. obviously.
Yeah. But come up with the next semifinals. We'll get the draws later and see who will be in the semifinal versus who and who has to run. Because from here, you have to run and qualify now.
Yeah.
No easing up, as the Jamaicans like to talk about.
True.
Easing up to the line.
Yeah.
And with the form that these guys coming into the championship with, there's no room for error. They have to run races and they have to
Three hard
qualify.
races.
3 hard races.
Yeah.
So getting into the semis, you have to go and you have to run. Also on the day, as I
By
said,
the way, I didn't hear you call Trevon. Is Trevon at the worst?
Bramwell.
I didn't see his name at all.
Oh, I have to double check that one again as
Remember,
well.
Curly is a defender.
Curly,
Right?
Coleman, Craviston, and Noah Lyles.
So Brummel is not there.
Bramwell's not there.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so, I mean, I like to look forward for. And other Jamaicans competing for the day. Adel Tracy qualifying 1500 meter. Hibbert looking impressive. I think I see a goal right there. You guys, you know, the females been taking away the spotlight a lot, you know.
True.
So we have to talk more on the males now because we know when Shelly and Sherika touch a track,
Different
team. Jamaica will come a light and
When they touch
Dale
down.
going to go back and
you know,
old female
you know what?
chant.
Let's talk about the women for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw a magazine, a website claim that Talu was going to win
Mm-hmm.
the 100 meter. And I thought that was a bit of a stretch. She's in the top 4,
Mm-hmm.
probably top 3. But you guys really think Talu can win this thing?
Dark horse, yeah. If somebody ever slip up or a bad race, on the day pressure, I mean,
Sherika have the fastest 100 meter time this year, which is 10.65,
10-6-5.
which is quite a bit faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
But why is she not the favorite?
Sherika?
Yes,
I mean, bookies.
because you know I have to have her as a favorite. She's my favorite.
I have her taking the double.
Yeah, I have her taking.
I have her
double too.
taking the double.
I have Shelly as a favorite.
You have Shelly as a favorite.
But Shelly, with the preseason, Shelly's kind of coming
She
in
hasn't shown
under.
anything yet, you know.
She's coming in under the
She
radar.
did a 10.8.
10-8-2, 10-8-3.
Yeah.
So The thing about Shelly, you know, Shelly.
A tournament run.
Yeah.
Yeah, big runner.
Even the first time she won the women's world, you know, her eyes were bulging already. So she was in shock. She surprised everybody.
I think
She ran for her life.
I said this before and I'm going to say it again. Sharika has the speed, but it's how you're going to pull that speed out.
Okay, so
pull out that
so
speed.
you know, so you guys agree that coaching is not about pulling this thing.
Yeah,
Pull it out, man. And she has the speed, but you don't have the 100-meter speed.
So the speed remains inside you unless you pull it
you
out.
should have the
right?
100-meter speed and run 10.65.
It's the fastest time this year.
And one of the fastest times ever.
True.
How many females run faster than 10.65? Have the top of the
Probably
history.
three.
Shelly.
Probably three.
Lian.
1, 2, 3.
Sorry, China. Really?
Flo Joe.
Yeah, but
Marion Jones.
No, sir.
No.
Marion Jones times
No,
are
sorry,
don't
not
exist.
Marion Jones. Jetta.
Carmelita Jetta.
Carmelita Jetta.
Yeah.
Carmelita Jetta. I
She's
think,
probably
yeah.
it's probably
So
four.
she's
Four.
fifth all time.
Yeah, it's probably.
I know she's fifth all
Yeah.
time. I'm just trying to remember the four.
It's just
So
that-
what are you talking about? Do you have the 100-meter speed? What kind of speed you have then?
Speed, you know, but to run consistently at that speed and to maintain and increase on that. Remember,
So you're saying she peak out 10.65? That's it.
peak out, man. Right now.
You're crazy, man. These guys.
No, man, right now, man.
You're crazy. It's
I would say to you, for her to run faster than that, in a 10.5, she has to get out the blocks and run.
You know,
She has to come out the blocks and run.
And what's wrong with
there's
doing
no
that?
drive phase, there's no nothing. It's not
Why-
like a Shelly. Shelly has that natural speed of a 100-meter runner. Shelly doesn't have a 200-meter runner speed. She has a natural 100-meter runner speed.
What was the Shelley PB?
10.6.
No, 200 meters.
No, the 100-meter.
100-meter, 10.
10.60.
Yeah.
And
10.6
10.65. What's Petey talking about? I mean, and Sherka is going to go faster.
Over 200.
Over both.
Yeah,
She even said she's faster than last year where she ran 21.45. And you keep forgetting, Stephen Francis is gearing them upwards to this championship. He never makes you peak for the national championship. You know? You think him want her for peak for national championship? Him want her peak for this event. So if him have her running 10.65,
Okay, so
10.6 is early out.
So this World Championships, I'm going to use it as a referendum on Stephen Francis, right? Because you've been coming on
blow
this
up him
show
resume.
year in year out. You come on the show with this praises be to Stephen
Oh,
Francis.
the man have the sauce.
No. And
Man
I'm,
have the sauce,
I'm,
man.
I'm serving you fair notice from now that I'm watching these World Championship results very closely.
Watch out for the Stephen Francis at least.
Yes, I'm watching
Jenny
for
Russell
the
400 meter hurdles.
Yeah.
I think she'll have a great year
You
this
guys
year.
think Megan Topper will produce a medal this year?
It's gonna tough. With the 100 meter hurdles,
Yeah,
women,
it's going to be very
It's
close.
a tough field.
USA 1, 2, and probably
Puerto Rican is in there. I forgot her name. Nigerian is there. She's clear to run. World record holder
that's
Amusan.
it. Is Nigeria first and the 2 USA runners?
No, I
So
don't know.
see.
Puerto Rican girl. I'm not soon tell
What's
her
her
name.
name? Puerto Rican girl.
Puerto Rican. Camacho. Puerto Rican. They're going to be on the podium. Is that going to be a tough race? It's going to, for a Jamaican to even make the final. It's going to be tough.
Will a
But-
Jamaican make the final at 200 meter men's?
We're
Jamaican
going all over the place.
Alright, sorry, let's go
we're
in
going
order.
over the
I'm
place.
sorry.
We're talking about medal prospects.
Yes.
Now, I'm not looking at the 200 meter for men, but 100 meter for men, I see
You
Seville
see a
and-
medal there.
I see a medal for Seville.
That'd be great.
Hibbert. I see goal. I see goal. I see goal. I see goal. 17.70, and I mean, just getting in his professional senior career, and is not even one future, one for now. I think he's still.
I think it's early days to make that judgment.
No, man, he's one for
I
now.
know he's good, but
He's going to improve, but he's world class level right now, and getting goal at a senior world championships triple jump. We're looking forward to it.
so
we've never
from
gotten
the
a medal.
men's side, you're saying to me that our best prospect for medal is between Hibbert and obviously the hurdlers, because Broadbell.
Broadbell.
Right. So
I
those
think
are the two.
Rajinda Campbell can
I-
get a bronze medal in the shot put. Yeah. For male, who else? Broadbell, as I said. Long jumpers, Wayne Pinnock, Kerry McLeod.
I know
I think
some-
I think
sorry.
I
Don't say
think
that.
they can
Don't say
Get
that.
a medal. I think they can get a medal. On the male side,
So we're not really in the 200. We're not really in the 400. We're not really in the 800.
now we're in the 400.
How are we in the 400?
No, 400 meter hurls, sorry.
No,
the young kid.
okay, 400 hurdles.
400 hurls.
I never thought of that.
400 hurls out of Camperdown. Name slipping me now. What's wrong with me today? I'm stumbling on names that are usually. That's why they call me the shrub, you know. Rashawn Clark. That's how. Yeah.
Is Hyde gone there?
Hyde is there as well,
there?
but Rashawn Clark.
I think he struggles with the distance. Hyde. Fades in the last.
Would have Schmeichel still, and they because both qualified.
And you're thinking these guys will medal?
They have a chance, but out and out, chance is a chance. You have to make the finals. Even 400 flat is going to be tough. What's his name at one of the championships? Sean Bailey.
Yeah.
Sean Bailey running good.
I think this World Championship, if we get
Watson.
6 medals, we're doing well.
On the main side?
Yeah, leave out the
overall.
relays. It's the relays I'm not counting. We probably get 8 medals
8 medals
overall.
overall.
Yes. I did the check the other day and I was about 8. I see people saying 11 and 12, but it's a long stretch. If you add people like Megan Tapper for the 100 hurdles, she have a chance as well.
It's good. That's tough though.
She can medal. That's a fact.
One thing with hurdles, you know.
Yeah.
Hurdles is a race.
Hurdles is a funny thing,
It's
isn't
a
it?
funny race.
Yeah.
And
I think 11 medals
and I
is
said
achievable.
qualification. And one thing we know about
Everything has to go
championships,
right.
we're going to
11 medals is
have
achievable.
surprises. We're going to have mishaps. We're going to have big names falling down. We're going to have people emerging. And we're going to have people after the championships disappearing and reappearing. Like
Yes.
Marcel Jacobs, who
Yes.
to me is reappearing now. And I will bet he won't make the final.
Boy, I can't rule out Marcel.
the
you know.
final.
He will not
Marcel
make the
will
final.
produce that burst in the finals.
He
that
not
you
make the
never
final.
expected.
He not make the final.
The final.
Oh, but I mean,
Him barely qualifying.
I know, I saw it.
Like barely qualifying.
early rounds, but even so, I don't think he'll make
No,
the
but
final.
look at even when you look at it, Ron Watson won 10-1-1.
Don't look at the times now.
No, but it's the time to qualify.
It's just
And
qualification.
basically, everybody afterwards is 10-1-1. You know, if you can't run 10-1-1, you can't qualify.
I
And
mean,
what time Lamont 10-1-1.
but that's early rounds. Don't look at those times. I'm just saying you're going to get fast as the rounds go on. Because you know, the semi-final, you're going to have top 2 qualifying. And you want to finish in that top 2. So whether you run 10-1-1 and finish second, you know, you're going to make the finals. You know.
Listen,
it's
I'm
not
not
about
thinking.
time.
I'm not thinking Lamont have a medal chance. But if I tell you this, if he makes it to the finals, all bets off. I think that he can pick your pocket just like he did in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Cause that man came out of nowhere and pick curly pocket. You know.
And one thing with championships, it's not about times. They ain't running for times.
true.
They're running for medals.
It's a different kind of
Yeah, so
person.
if I run 10-1-1 and get the gold medal, I get the gold medal.
That's true.
I don't have to run 9-5-8. And we see where now the cash prizes for these events, gold medalists get 70K. Check and feel up, pay 70K, decent payout. And we see all the way down from 70K, 8th place, you get 5K. So a lot is on the stake.
Money night one. Once you reach a
And
final.
there's a 35K gap because silver medals, 35K. So gold, silver, 35K. But my performance at the championships, I'm going to call it from now, Sherika Jobson breaking a 200-meter world record
Really?
and going down in history as
Wishful thinking, but I like that. I like that.
200-meter world record.
Yeah, wishful
female.
thinking. Yeah.
It's going to
It's gonna
go.
break.
Really?
Man, she'll break it, man. Let's see. I think that's her aim.
If she
Her aim
turn
is
up in
not
the
just-
condition that she ran the national championships in,
she's going for
she
it.
can double.
She said last year I ran 21:45 and this year I'm faster.
She's going for it.
Our coach knows what he's doing. I said, you know how to pull out that
Yes, yes,
speed.
yes.
You know how to pull out the speed, but she know where she's at.
Yeah.
She know where she has been, and she knows the condition of her body, and she know the background training she do to the stage where she is now. And if she says she knows she faster than 21:45, and after getting that gold medal in 100-meter that I predict her to get,
What about
adrenaline from there.
How you say I hear that some rain falling in Budapest,
Yeah.
you know, and them having challenges with the weather. How you think this will affect our medal prospects?
Yeah, I mean, everybody going out there to compete under the same conditions, and I mean, we're used to rain. But which event do you think the rain will affect us most in?
200-meter running in particular.
Cool conditions, rain. I
Is it
mean,
winning
with
or
a,
is it the record they're going
I
on?
mean, with a little breeze, a damn surface. Make the track a little
I hear
faster.
them say you go faster on a wet track.
Yeah, they say go a little faster.
Yeah.
Get a little breeze, a 1.2 headwind.
I don't know if I were a hurdler.
21-29.
If I were a hurdler running the sprint hurdles, high hurdles on a wet surface, I don't know about that. I'll be worried.
Yeah, so
It's challenging when doing the hurdles because it's an obstacle course.
But this Nigerian woman, Amusan. I was pleasantly surprised to see her running. I thought they said she had missed 3 consecutive tests and had been banned. What's the backstory to that? How was that?
I have to double check on that, but she's cleared. So I mean, I guess.
But you either miss 3 or you don't miss 3. If you miss 3, you miss 3. It's an objective fact.
Yeah.
So how is she running?
So did she miss 3 or it's a fault on
the test?
Well, let me ask you.
I don't know. Why is she
What's
cleared?
the name of the Jamaican that was banned there for missing 3?
Christopher Taylor.
Yeah, right. You missed 3.
You missed 3. There's
And
no
even had a word with the man.
Yeah.
The drug tester saw him, but he just failed to submit. And so he missed 3. So Yala missed 3. What's her name again? Amusan missed 3.
I think there's more
I'm
to the
going to
story.
look at that backstory.
Yeah. I'm sure there's more to the story, but she's cleared and looking to go out there and compete for Nigeria. And definitely, if she's in the race, she's the favorite. And I met her in person, she's a diminutive figure.
Yes.
She's even shorter than Megan Tapper.
I know she a little bit. Yeah.
She's probably like 4'9" or something like that.
Wow.
4'11". She's that short.
Wow. Under 5.
Yeah, she's just skipping over the hills. She's probably 5'1". She's probably like 5'1", but she's diminutive and quick. So imagine, going over those hurdles, just skipping through at that
Did
height.
I hear that Cindy McClarkin
He's out of the championships.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, Geneve Russell will step up, and I see her.
That opens up a possibility.
Yeah,
for
that
us
opens up a
because-
spot.
Yeah.
And I think she's having a somewhat of a comeback here because she did well in her earlier years. Kind of had some injuries and
I don't think there's any
fell
comeback
off a
to
bit.
come back. Yeah.
No, I mean she was top 5 in the world for a good 3-4 year period, and then she kind of dipped off form, and I think she's coming back to that top 5 form.
You think Elaine is going to see any track time?
Track time, as in.
In the 4x1? She going to get
I think she's going.
No, I'm asking you seriously. Is she going to?
Question I'm asking.
I said she should run the mixed relay.
I would have preferred to see her in the mixed relay, yes.
Speaking of mixed relay, results are out. USA won in world record time.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a new event.
How important is that though? That's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of curry goat table tennis. It's curry goat.
Ping pong.
The question I want to ask about Elaine and that 4x1, will she run the final?
I don't think so, because in the interview, I listened to the interview very well, and she said, "I just want to help the team to qualify. I'm here to just qualify the team," and she said it 2 times. And that left me to believe that she knows she will not run the final, regardless.
She's probably not in that top
This is
form.
what we're talking about, you know.
Yeah.
And this is Elaine.
Yes.
Even though she's not in that creme de la creme form that she's in, this is Elaine. This is one of the 3 fastest women we have.
Was not.
But you know, history don't run races, you know.
There.
History does not run races. You got to run the race on the day. And the fact is, she's nowhere near her previous form,
She won't run
regardless
the
of what
final.
they're telling you. And therefore, do you put her in the finals when she's not one of the top 4 women right now?
Yeah.
And everybody want them gold medal.
Even
and
so,
they want to run for them gold medal.
which leg would you put her on?
Yeah, where would she run?
Which leg would you ideally see her running? Remember, she's not on top form.
Backstretch.
Nah, she won't run it. Sharika probably run that.
That's the longest leg, you know.
Yeah, that is the longest leg.
You're going to give Sharika that to run.
So you'd make Elaine run a curve? No. Elaine,
I don't see.
Elaine not
I
going
don't
to
see.
run.
It's either anchor or not at all, and therefore it's not at all.
She's there to help the team qualify.
That's exactly what she said. That's why she said in the interview. But you know what's funny?
It makes it sound like, all right,
Yeah.
Bolt go run the 4x1 now because Bolt is Bolt. Bolt in no way form can go run the
He's not
4x1.
Bolt anymore.
Yeah.
No, I'm not bold, but this is Elaine. It's not like
No.
she's way slower than the top 4.
She is way slow.
slow.
She is way slow.
That's why she came 5th.
She is way slow. She is way slow.
That's why she came 5th.
And who's going
Shelley
to give
was
up their
in-
spot?
Yeah.
Who's going to give up their spot for her?
Remember, you know,
And Shelley-
it's a 4x1, you know.
Yes.
Regardless of where, if you run the final or not, you still get a medal.
Nobody wants to still get the medal. They want them want to run them
So
race.
if you qualify the team win, to still get in the goal.
Of course, but that's not the
But
point.
the thing is, this is Jamaica, you know, the organizers there.
No, man.
All right,
Favoritism.
when Jamaica...
So why would they have show favoritism to Elaine? Elaine is not one of the golden...
No, but this is Jamaica, you know. Them have a tendency to do these things.
No.
They reach the finals and say, boy, all right, they're not actually really depend farm.
No chance. No chance.
No.
Nobody's going to give up their spot. Nobody's going to give their spot for Elaine.
No.
Nobody's going to give them spot.
No.
And then it comes back to...
So like you want to put Elaine in the team?
So like... Put her in the finals.
That would be a crazy
Why?
move.
Because of her name?
Alien.
No, you have to qualify. And then again, which leg? I mean, but
she wouldn't have any right to claim it, and there would be no reason. There's no, but there's no evidence to support the fact that we need to put her in either.
It's not like even after the national championship,
she had broken the world record.
She start run faster, get better times. She's there to help the team qualify.
Yeah, I could understand like a Johan Blake, where Johan give us some little 10 seconds the other day.
Yeah.
You know, a man say we're going to put in Johan. I could understand that argument.
McDonald coming down with this time after the national championship.
I could understand that. But
she hasn't run in the races after.
We haven't seen anything. We've seen some interviews where she talking all kind of things.
Yeah, living at the past. You want to run last year, Alien run this year.
Yeah.
You don't work like that. Last year, Alien can run this year. Or the Alien will
I think
run all them fast time. Yeah. No, you go off farm and she's not in that top 4 farm, so to say, to get into the team. But the organizers, as I said, they will pick the team. But we know the team.
Worse, if I think what would save some of these girls if one of them don't actually make it to the 100-meter final.
I don't think that affects one thing.
That don't affect anything.
That don't affect.
Because at the end of the day, you qualify, you cross the line top 4.
They own that spot.
Yeah.
Them not give it that spot. Just like for who?
For why?
Yeah. No, it's not gonna.
It don't work like that. No, it don't work like that.
The team be damned.
No.
Why
going down with the ship. I mean, as a captain.
I feel like we put her in the finals because that chemistry with the other 3.
That would be madness.
What chemistry
is the opposite of chemistry. What she has with the other 3 is the opposite of chemistry. You know, let me tell you a joke. They asked her if other people are coming up to her as a teammate to ask for advice and such in the interview. And she said, yeah, she get DMs from them. No, you and me up on the track, you know, with training and all that. And we're asking if people come to you for advice. The same way that players like Kane would come to me for advice. About the game.
I don't go in the DM. I was sliding in the DM.
Kane doesn't slide in the DM.
I call you and say...
Kane doesn't call me and say, Peter, what do I need to know? We chat. We're teammates, we talk. But Ilian said that it is in her DMs that she...
There's no chemistry there.
There's no chemistry there, man.
Why pick her then? Why?
Because she finished 5th.
She's in the relay pool. Substitute. She's in the relay pool.
Then why is she going if she know the team really...
No.
6 players travel. She travels.
You travel, you have to make the team. You're in the pool, you're doing a service to your country, whether you like me, yes or no, we'll get along. You have to go out there, you compete.
But
put
guys,
all things aside.
One quick thing before we need to jump over football once. I need to ask you a question. Have you noticed that Neymar is gone to Saudi Arabia now? And have you noticed? I have a relative of mine, you know, calling the man them league a camel league, like a bush league, and all that kind of thing. But let's be serious.
A big thing, no.
Have you checked who is playing in Saudi Arabia now?
A lot of talk.
Kante,
Benzema,
Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo. I could go on another 6. A bunch of Brazilians down there. The man them league has become a big thing. And it's as I
am the only one that agrees with the relative. It's a camel league.
No,
you think so?
Bush league.
Probably more big players down there than in a German league. You're looking at the German league? Bundesliga don't have nobody now, you know?
Bush league.
Or some Bundesliga is a Bush league?
Man, Saudi Arabia, a Bush league.
No, I don't think so.
So you think the Saudi Arabia teams, these big players going there, you think these teams can compete with the European teams?
I think so. I've been hearing some argument now that they are trying to get a spot in a Champions League. Whoever come from that side. And that will give them the credibility that they need.
They can't compete with any of these teams.
Hey, listen.
Just because those name ballers are down there, they're still a Bush league.
There's quality football in that part.
Saudi league better than MLS.
But MLS a Bush league too.
Well, it's all bush.
So, I'm just assume.
A big thing on there, and
I think it's a good thing. Football is being popularized worldwide, and therefore it means if
Expanding.
ECL takes in that North African, thing. Like, I remember, Galatasaray and them people from Turkey are playing in a Champions League.
Yeah.
So why not an Arabian
Israel team can qualify for the
Well, I don't know about Israel football.
No, but as I say, you have
But I like still the Saudi League, them basically a balance of football.
Yes.
balance it to how?
In terms of spending. Normally you have the
balance.
Listen.
Tipping the scales. That's not
The
balance.
top teams them normally just grab all of the big
Yeah,
ones
but their
and-
own
No.
leagues are imposing standards on them too, They're trying to cut down on the spending.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they can pay the players them what they want to get paid.
What do you mean balancing out? I don't understand that.
When
How
a
is it
Man U
balancing
at
out?
Chelsea, Man City, Juventus, Real Madrid and all them can draw these big name players and create this big team.
Yeah.
This big super team.
Yes.
Yeah. You have no Saudi League that is pulling these same players away. And when you have the Man U's them dive into these
They're
young-
pulling them. They're in their careers.
No, man, when them
basically.
dive into like the Southamptons, the lesser teams who have these big ballers, some big ball, and them dive in and them grab them out, and you create this gap
Yes.
within
gap?
the league. Top 6.
But why is
bottom
there?
half.
But why is there? Where is
Let
there?
me
No,
ask you a
no.
question. Let me ask you a question. How many Arab League matches have you watched? Any? You ain't watch any?
No, so
Have you watched any?
Zero.
I've watched a few. I've watched
Zero.
Cristiano Ronaldo matches.
I see
a couple of
highlights.
them and
competitive
so on.
down there.
And in fact, they went on tour
Money
in
Cup
Europe.
competitive. What are you talking about competitive? Money Cup is competitive. Anywhere you go, you have competition.
True.
Yeah, so
But is the quality there? That's the question.
in quality in comparison to what?
A team with Sadio Mane and Cristiano Ronaldo is it a legitimate team?
No.
You seriously don't think so?
Well, in comparison to what? It is a legitimate team.
it's a
But for what? For curry goat football. They can't compete with those European teams. They
Listen,
can't.
with the amount of money these
not
guys
because-
have, they
not-
can get there. They can get there.
Get there with
Can
more
get there.
players.
Yes.
All the professional players still
They
majority play in
they
Europe.
have more marquee players than the MLS right now.
It's just marquee players.
Isn't it true, sir?
It's like Bollywood versus Hollywood. Bollywood have the market.
Bollywood worth it's
Yeah.
I care for what you're saying.
But we all know what Hollywood is. That's
true
the creme
that.
de la creme.
True that.
But this is like
But
Bollywood.
so what you're saying, Kane, is you feel that the European man, the slave master man, have some kind of God-given rights to control football. That's what you're saying.
They don't. But where the shift going to be?
No,
They're providing the money. It's business. It's why the Brazilians leave Brazil and go to Europe.
Some.
Why isn't there a South American league and a
they
lot?
have.
No,
South
I
American
mean-
League, a good league,
No, I mean why they don't stay and play. And what we are seeing in Champions League and watching on TV, or we wake up every morning and try to stream or watch.
Yes.
Why we don't do it for all the South American countries coming up? And we are watching the same South American players play in Europe.
But you know what's
Because
interesting?
it's the money willing to
What's
spend.
interesting?
It's
If you're a
market.
football scout and you have a budget and you're working for, I don't know, Barcelona or Germany, you spend as much time in South America as you do in Europe looking for the players. You spend time in Africa looking for the
They
players.
signed him at 15, 16
True.
earlier.
True.
Yeah, look at
So there's
Whisper now.
quality to do his leagues.
Why Whisper go to Chelsea and let him stay in Jamaica and play?
I think it's the power of the pound. I think it's the power.
There's
of the
money.
money
There's
and-
money.
and-
And it's more it's more to it than just football on the field. Remember, it's geography.
True.
Remember, that's why you have these big name teams are big cities. So you can have
I
you
feel
can
that
have-
we're a little uncomfortable with the idea that the Arab man he can go and get a Cristiano Ronaldo and a Messi and a Mbappe. Remember they put up hundreds of millions of dollars for these guys. You know? I think we're a little uncomfortable with that idea. Yeah.
But
I mean, the British man basically buy his league.
but there's more than it's Europe. It's more than one country, but Saudi is just one country. So can Saudi? Because you have England competing with Germany, competing with France, competing with Italy, competing.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
and it's the love for the game. The French.
I think the Arabs love them football.
I love it.
I think them love them football.
Not as much as
it's hard
the
to measure love
Europeans.
that way. Hard to measure love that way, boss.
It's not as much as
The
the
amount of
Europeans.
money that
Try
these
to
guys
bid
are
for the World Cup,
prepared.
They're bidding for the World Cup
Yeah.
2013.
Who's that? Arab?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Yeah, man.
So this is a part of the whole
That was part of the
strategy,
deal with
it's just like I've been to these countries, some of these countries. The Germans love football way more than the French, and the English love football way
hard
more
to
than the
judge,
French.
hard
I'm
to
telling
judge.
you,
Germans love them football.
Hard to judge.
The Englishman love him football more than the Frenchman. Why I think the French league not as lucrative or big? The French love the football out there.
Hard to judge. That's all I can tell.
And look who even play for France. Most of the immigrants, you know.
True.
Yeah, the Algerians that come across and the Africans and all of that.
But it's hard to measure love that way, you know.
Well, look how time flying. And
My God.
Yeah. When you're talking about Arabs and Europeans and love, but time flies when you're having fun. But next week, you know, we're going to dive more into Budapest. A lot going to happen from now on to next week. And we're going to come back and talk about more performances. Some maybe of high quality, some maybe like disappointed, but yet still, we wish all Jamaicans there in Budapest all the best. And who wouldn't mind just get every medal, whoever competing what, just get them medals. But we wish them all the best. And tuning in and watching.
Good luck to Coach Dale Parham, who is in the Dominican Republic.
Somewhere in this world.
He's taking some junior team there to compete in a tournament. Best wishes to Coach Dale Parham and to Logan Royce, my personal favorite, to come back with some impressive statistics.
I mean, hopefully they can get a contract to Saudi Arabia through this.
Yeah,
and
maybe
get
next
some
week
Arab.
these guys in Saudi Arabia.
And just fly and we have some things about table tennis to
We
talk about next week.
and big up Trevante Stewart, first Jamaican, not first Jamaican, but going across now to apply his trade in Syria. That's a big
well
thing.
done, Owen Hill. Congratulations to Owen Hill. That's how Owen Hill
from Mount Pleasant
yeah.
transferring to a Syria club. As you
A
said,
big thing that.
a big thing that we
Big
never
thing
touch
that.
more on
And
that.
before we go, national table tennis champion.
Don't forget Mark Phillips.
Yes, man.
Mark Phillips, Mark Ford be the greatest.
We should bring him
forward.
on camera. He's right around the corner practicing.
He's probably training there, you know. But Mark Ford.
But you notice how everybody's claiming Mark now?
Yeah.
Mark who is behind us training right now, you know.
But
you know.
him know say, you know, I made a Godfather.
No, but it's so funny. It's so funny.
But
You know?
I have to big him up, Mark
Yeah.
Ford. I mean, doing it in
And
fine
thank
style.
you for leaving the title vacant for somebody to take it up.
No, it's still my title, but
I know,
it's
but-
shared now. It's
yeah,
shared.
yeah.
No,
So
man.
no,
but
you-
him step up
No,
big
you're beginning
time.
to feel what it feels like to be the people's champ.
I mean, you learn it, you're passing the cards. So you see it from one champion to the next to Mark Fowle. I mean, well done, young lad.
Well
And
done, well done.
Did it in fine style, and I like him demeanor in the whole
Yeah.
tournament. Seemed confident, and you know, even before him tell me, Ken, I got this. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you got this.
Yeah.
So
I wonder what-
big up Mark
If
Fowle.
you had to look at him and say, I'm at the finals. Right there, me for
Yeah,
championship.
I know. We always banter there, but I mean, it was a good tournament, and you see the likes of, we have to big up Dina Bass to play a lot of matches
Yeah.
and competed well.
Yeah.
We have to big up Dina, but young juniors like Gary White and
There's a guy I saw,
Logan
Brian
Rice.
something on a
Brian Blake.
I think he has a good potential.
To me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this on here, I was most impressed with him out of everybody in
Yes,
the whole tournament.
likewise. And you know why you and I can see it and other people can't see?
I sit down there and I tell, and
Jamaica produces very few magical players. And
And
you,
you
and you and I, if we determine that that's it, you know.
yeah, because even so, you know, I helped
Yeah.
with Gary White.
Yes.
And Garrett Jr. and he won the under 15, under 19.
Well done.
He won the men's doubles
Yes.
title. And he won the parish team title.
Yeah.
So he's probably has the most titles at the national
Okay,
champion.
fine. Yeah.
And I'm help coaching, but yet still
Yeah.
I'm impressed
Yes.
with young Brian.
I
Blake.
saw the kid as well, and
And
I was
trust
impressed
me,
with him. And,
very
and let me
impressed.
tell you something: if Messi and Cristiano attend a match,
Yeah.
and King Pele too,
Yeah.
and them ask him and them say, you know, I saw this kid.
Yeah, this kid,
That
you
that
know,
is
so
the
that
blessing,
kid-
you know.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah, when the big man say
they
impressed.
can't pay for what we just said.
I mean, never have discussion.
We never had a discussion.
This is the
And
first
yet we
talking
saw it,
about
yeah.
I'm
Because
most
we
impressed.
know what it takes.
We just sit down in the stands.
Yeah.
And we never say,
Yeah.
and we come here and
We
and
are a
say,
unique group.
Yeah.
Us.
and
okay,
I hope him stick with it.
Yeah, some people see speed and thing, you know, we see other things.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
We see the next level.
Yeah.
They only see,
Yeah.
they only see what's on the surface.
From Primal.
Yeah, you're the people's champion.
Yeah,
as
man,
well,
yeah, man. You don't know, man.
Yeah,
You don't
from one
know.
people's
Yeah,
champ to the
yeah,
next.
yeah,
Nah, pull out the talent.
But I mean, time flies. We're having fun, and we have to wrap up the show now. We want to big up two interviews from Allie McNab.
Yes.
And Sami DePass.
Yeah.
Sami DePass, North American powerlifting weight champion, and Allie McNab, name speaks for himself.
Yeah.
We're so many hot former national footballer coach. I
Yeah.
mean, boys champs winner. I mean, you tell.
And-
but
and-
two great interviews, and I want to thank them for taking the time out.
Just a reminder, next week on Primal, Connie Francis,
Yeah.
Jamaica's all-time sharpshooter, sharpshooter,
Yeah,
and an extraordinary coach.
Yeah, I want to big up the listeners again. Fit FM 96.7. I mean, Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, the show wouldn't be possible without you. So, one love from the Primal Sports Desk, and we'll see you next week. Who's up next? DJ Gaddafi. So, again, peace, and hey, stay tuned to Primal.
Peace out.